Hey guys, Banana Lock here. Welcome back to another Watch Our Realms video. You can see we're back on the test server again today because we have a brand new hero that we'll be introducing, and it's gonna be a piercer, marksman. So not exactly the most unique sort of kit, I guess. It is something that we're pretty familiar with. And I think the main reason why this unit was introduced was to really tackle the GR3 problem. So the new unit that we have today is honestly don't know how to best pronounce his name. His Ruen Hollow. I think that's the best way I can pronounce it. Ruen Hollow. Yeah. So he is a 12 cost marksman. He honestly looks very underwhelming from just image alone. I honestly don't see him as an legendary unit, to be honest. I don't know, maybe his in-game model will look nicer, but yeah. Stats wise, it is a bit lower than what we usually get. 3.7k base attack, and then you can see the attack interval, your classic piercer range. Attack interval is lower than average at 2 seconds, so that's what it is. And yeah, the main thing that he's gonna do is basically be a replacement for Alaura and Hatsuit in content where invisibility is required. So let's get on with his kit. So when deployed, enters invisibility, and when other allied marksmen use their ultimate, the hero, which is Ruen Hollow, launches the Phantom Arrow at one enemy within that marksman's basic attack range. So he will launch an attack to the marksman that used their ultimate, and it's going to do 320% AoE damage to the target and up to 4 other enemies. And this effect can be triggered up to 1 time every 3 seconds, so some bit of timing here to make sure that we stack up ultimates. And Phantom Arrow also inflicts 25% defense reduction, which is pretty decent for 8 seconds on the target. So you're gonna need some marksmen that have very high ultimate uptime. Honestly, right now, the only unit I can think of that does that is Vaughn, especially under Ascetiris. I'm not sure if they stack up. Other than that, Iova is another good contender for that. So maybe we'll find something with those mixed up together, because I think the rest of the units' ultimate uptime isn't that great. So yeah, that's his talent. Where did he disappear to? Okay, there we go. Let's just bookmark him so he stays on top. Alright, passive. 120% damage to one enemy one time, prioritizing airborne units, so single target damage. And then first passive, during invisibility, increases the hero's damage by 25% and restores 10% HP to the hero per second. Negates the first direct damage taken per deployment. So I think the second bit here is very helpful for something like GR3, where sometimes the boss just randomly targets the wrong units. So in Alaura's case, you have to have an exclusive artifact to make sure she doesn't get one shot. But in Ruen Hollow's case, you can actually defend from that once with this passive here. And second passive, for every 4 twin strike bolt fired, launches a special phantom arrow at one enemy within the basic attack range, with damage reduced 5%. So he's just gonna do one phantom arrow as and when he does 4 of the twin strike bolts. This is tied to his ultimate, which we'll take a look at in a bit. But this is basically giving him just more extra damage there. Alright, and then the ultimate here loads up to 20 twin strike bolts. What do this do? Special type of ammo. After loading this ammo, hero's basic attacks becomes double shots. Each double shot consumes 2 twin strike bolts and targets a random unit. So it's just going to target random units in his range, something like Lady Alexandra's Mark of Amenity, but this is, you can do 10 of this, and damage of each twin strike bolt fired increases by 100%, and ends invisibility 10 seconds after activating the ultimate if twin strike bolt still remains, and it enters invisibility again when all the twin strike bolts are exhausted. So the way I see this, with an attack interval of just barely 2 seconds, you're going to get it down to 1 second pretty easily. So it's going to be pretty easy to use up the Twin Strike boats unless you run out of units to actually target. So pretty nifty ultimate. The thing is, Twin Strike boat doesn't seem to do any special thing. It just looks like a basic hit. I think the only thing that I can think of is the fact that it's coupled with this. So you're gonna do like 5 Phantom Strikes within the 20 Twin Strike boats that you actually get. So that's gonna be where the AoE damage comes in along with the defense reduction. So that's nice. We are gonna have to test this to see how it fares in actual gameplay, to see whether it's sufficient damage, because he does have a pretty low base damage at just 3.7k attack. Now we move on to Awakenings. A1 during Twin Strike Boat reduces attack interval by 25%, and Twin Strike Boat has a 50% chance to inflict 1 stack of Winter Bite. So that's pretty interesting. I think that once again goes towards supporting him in GR3, where sometimes if the mobs are licking, having this Winter Spike can just help a little bit. And the reduced attack interval just ensures that he can launch all his attacks in time. But the thing that I have, or rather the question that I have, is that after the Twin Strike Boat ends, do you just then return to your ultimate? And this doesn't really offer any damage boost. It is just offering some utility with the Winter Spite. And then A2 flat attack, that's always good for a unit like this, especially with a low base attack. A3 increases attack by 5%. If this is post-deployment, that's going to be huge. And when Phantom Arrow triggers, increases the hero's attack an additional 2%, stacking up to 10 times. So basically, after 1 ultimate and 3 ultimates from himself, he's going to get the max stack, and that's going to give him a whopping 25% attack increase, which is pretty good, especially if this is post-deployment. Now, A4 is penetration, very standard for a unit like him. A5 reduces the interval of the talent's Phantom Arrow to 2 seconds. When the thing is triggered, grants the corresponding ally a shield equals to 50% of their HP for 8 seconds. A bit more utility to actually help units survive. So, from a quick look here, he's obviously meant to replace Alaura and Hatsuit. The question is, can he do it at A0 like Van Helsing can to replace Nyx on the left side? Because right now I can see that A1 doesn't really offer much utility here. A2 and A3 is where the good awakenings are at. And A5, yeah, doesn't really do much in my opinion. So, interesting unit. He only has AoE hits in his Phantom Arrow. So, this is going to be pretty important in terms of how useful he is. Because if the ultimate as well as the Veiled Strikes don't do enough damage, then he's not going to be very helpful in GR3. So let's see if he can actually do that with the testing, and let's get on with it without further ado. And actually, no, last but not least, we do have to talk about Artifact. So I think the only artifact that this guy works with is actually Hand of Doom. Given how low his base damage is, I think giving him the extra 10% penetration, it's actually going to work really well. Other than that, I think other artifact like Black Collar's Claw is fine. I think Idriel's Gaze is fine as well, but ideally you want to get the Hand of Doom to give him as much flat stats as possible. But yeah, let's get on with the testing and see how that performs. Alright, so from the mechanics perspective, there's not much to test for Ruen Hollow. It is pretty straightforward. All I want to find out is how his Phantom Boats are treated, those basic attacks, and as well as the Twin Strike Boat. So there's no better way to do this other than to put him alongside with Volca and Guild Boss. So let's just do that and see how he fares there. Okay, so first one we're going to do is to see if the Phantom Boat that his ally triggers, whether that results in lifesteal. Because if it results in lifesteal, then we know it's considered a basic attack, but I honestly don't think it is. So let's put him on the side here. And then we wait for Eova ultimate before we slow things down here. So you can see he does a Phantom Bolt as well. That hits. can see the defense reduction, but we didn't see any lifesteal coming out from him. We can just wait for the next ultimate to see if it happens, but I don't think at least from what I saw, doesn't look like. Yeah, there's no phantom. The phantom bolt triggers, but there's no lifesteal, so it's definitely not a basic attack. Now the next test we're gonna see is his twin strike bolts, whether those count as basic attacks. I will assume those do, because it just says that it fires his attacks, but they do 100% more damage. But let's just put Volkart in, and we see how that works out. This text is pretty annoying, because it's very hard to see whether he does any lifesteal. Okay, so now I'm gonna pop his ultimate. It's gonna load up the boats here. And let's see. So 2 shots out. You can see the lifesteal, 2 shots out, 3 shots out. And we get the defense reduction in a bit, I guess. Yeah, we just got it, but we didn't see any extra lifesteal. We're just seeing 2 boats of lifesteal every time it happens. So definitely Phantom Bolt doesn't work as a basic attack. It is definitely a special attack, so gear-wise, if you want to consider it, we definitely want him in Cataclysm or Sober Arcana. And yeah, we'll see in the GR3 testing what I use, because that will show which was the best set that we've managed to find for him in GR3, which is probably the toughest content out there for him. Alright, the first showcase we'll be doing here is going to be for GR3 24. This is the only place that Alaura is used predominantly, so let's see if Ruen Hollow can actually replace her there. And yeah, the team we're running is going to be the same as what you normally run in GR3, just that we're actually going to be replacing Alaura with him. The rest of the units are pretty much the same, so let's head in and see what he can do. Alright, so it's going to be Darlin down first. And then next we're going to just wait for Lady Alexandra. Go. We put Yao Chan in, pop the ultimate, and then get Silas in as well. And next we're just going to put Ruen Hollow down on the side. There we go. You can see the Phantom Bolt flying over to do some damage to that mob there. And now we can put Nerissa in. And yeah, the middle setup is done here. We just pop Alex ultimate whenever we have it, just to get the extra damage in. And the way that we do this is that we wait for the first indicators, so there'll be some arrows pointing down before we put down Van Helsing. And that's also when we pop his ultimate, so that he can stack it up for the next wave. The only RNG with this here is to make sure that the boss doesn't do any attacks to him. Because if he does, then pretty much very hard to keep him alive, because he's gonna get some hits off this first guy here. Yeah, so you can see we got that auto hit on him there, so let's survive. Let's just restart the run. See if you can get better RNG this time.
Uncompromising, unrelenting, unbreakable.
Slay them, darling.
Same thing. And down once we have it. And now we're just waiting for Silas ultimate. Phantom Bolt flying over, but doesn't really affect Silas because he has 100% defense ignore anyways. Have that, pop in the Nerissa, and then we just wait the rest of the mobs to spawn here. Alright, now I'm gonna wait for the same thing, for those indicators to show up. I'm just gonna time it in a bit, wait for the first set of mobs to show before we pop the ultimate. Hopefully that just gives enough time for the invisibility to not wear off, so that he doesn't get targeted by the boss. Yep, there we go. So he's gonna get one hit off from this guy, but that's fine because we are expecting that to happen. Actually, in this case, he didn't even get the hit off because of the Winter Spike proc. So that's good. And now we just wait for the boss to do another one of his global hits before we cast his ultimate. We're gonna despawn Darlin in a bit here because we do need Iova to support that side.
Blood will spill. Blood will spill.
So you get another Alex proc there, that's good.
Blood will
We're also gonna get another Ruen Hollow ultimate here. So pop the
in power we find
Iova in.
my prayers will guide you.
There we go. Winter Spike is doing quite a bit of work there. And I'm gonna pop the Iova. There we go. And hopefully we're able to clear this out in a bit.
My prayers will guide you. My prayers will guide you.
Go. Boss is almost dead here.
You are simply no match for me. My prayers will guide you.
Okay, now that that's done, I'm gonna despawn Silas. Put Leia down because we want a bit of extra damage boost here.
My prayers will guide you.
Okay, got a nice Alex proc, that's good. Don't think the Leia ultimate is gonna come out in time, unfortunately. We're just gonna proc, spam this. So yeah. Almost there. I think a bit of RNG at the end there, but I'm not gonna bother too much with it because if we had that Leia ultimate there, that would have definitely helped. It's just that I didn't put him in Spirit Horn. But does he work? He definitely does. It's just that it's plagued with a lot of RNG, as you can see the initial part of the run where we actually had to restart it because the boss actually hit him. There's no way to give him 100% invisibility, unlike what we have on Alaura where she has the exclusive banger. For him, all he has in terms of survivability is this passive where he negates the first direct damage that he takes. And I don't think we can actually use him by despawning him and whatnot. I don't think that's optimal, especially with how tight the timings are in GR3 24. And also the fact that you lose the 10% penetration that you get from here. You can see the gear here, it is pretty stacked. We do have him in a Piercer Cataclysm Ring. So yeah. Let's move on to the next bit of the showcase to show what else he can do. Alright, next place we're gonna test out Ruen Hollow is gonna be the new Malrik Trials. These ones are pretty flyer heavy. I think this is one of the ones where we do get the strong flyers coming out from the middle here, from the top. So we'll see how he fares versus these guys because they do spawn almost every wave. He does pair pretty well with Van Helsing on the side Because the Phantom Arrow giving the damage reduction does allow him to finish off the side mobs much easier. So let's head in and see how he fares, whether he can actually solo the flyers up top. Now, I'm gonna put Van Helsing here first, facing right, Orisa. And next we'll put down Ruen Hollow facing top. We do need to kill off 3 units before we get that artifact boost on him, so pop the ultimate there. Put down Earlis as well. And now let's just put down Alaura to help clear off these units here. Now I'm gonna shift Alaura to the side. I think we don't need her moving out anymore. Oh no, we do. Okay, maybe we'll just put down this guy here to help clear out these skeletons. I'm gonna put Dralian down here, then Silas. And when the Templars start walking in, that's when we're gonna start using Silas. I'm gonna pop Valara's ultimate in a bit, just to deal with the bug bombs if we need it. Because the bug bombs are gonna detonate and kill off Silas if they come in range. Over up top. And yeah, let's pop the ultimate here, as well as on Van Helsing. Very nice. I'll pop the ultimate on Alaura here.
My prayers will guide you. Some fates end, others are stayed.
Don't think that guy dies. Or does he? Maybe it's gonna be close.
Some fates end, others are stayed. Some fates end,
Close enough.
are stayed.
Let's pop Silas ultimate as well, and then once the Dralian out is up, I'm gonna pop it because we need it to stay alive. There we go. With 1 unit left, it is a lot more manageable, I hope.
Some fates end, others are stayed. Some fates end, others are stayed.
I'm gonna push these guys to the side.
My prayers will guide you.
Just in the nick of time.
My prayers
And we'll have that last guy there, but that's fine. Just gonna let it stay there for a bit. So he starts hitting quite hard, especially with Narisa Inspiration on him and getting that penetration boost. The next thing I'm gonna do is just move Alaura back here to finish off these guys. Because without block here, it is pretty hard to manage.
some fates end,
Hopefully this is sufficient.
stayed. My prayers will guide you.
Congratulations!
There we go, that's done. And then now we get Ruen Hollow to deal with these guys on the side.
Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule? My prayers will guide you.
Oops. Malrik dies there unfortunately, but I'm gonna just spawn Cyrus down here. Support there instead. And yeah, that should be done
My
there.
prayers will guide you.
I just need to wait for the boss to come out here. Actually, Ruen Hollow does pretty decent damage to him there.
Stage My clear. Prayers will guide you. But my prayers will guide you. My
Up the ultimate again. And we should be able to finish off those guys pretty easily. Didn't even have to use Alaura there, so that's good. Now we can actually move Alaura to the bottom here and put in a proper tank once these guys are dead, so that we can have 2 tanks here to block the fallen Templars that come off later. There we go. I think we can remove Silas for now. Put Malvera down.
My prayers will guide you.
Ultimate there.
My prayers will guide you.
And with these skeletons out, and then just pop and Helsing's ultimate.
My prayers will guide you.
Some fates end, others are stayed.
And see Van Helsing clears that up pretty decently.
My prayers will guide you.
Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule? Some fates end, others are stayed.
Let me guess. You need something shot or something. Let me guess. Let me...
Problem is we can't actually shift any of these units here. Let's pop the ultimate over. Over, as these fallen Templars are just in a very weird position. And yeah, that should end things off for us there.
Let me guess. You need something
Yeah, pretty sketched up run, but this is, I think, a level 4 stage, so it is pretty difficult. I think the problem with this is the bug bombs. When you have the bug bombs there, it's very hard to position units in such a way that you can actually clear through everything. But the chest rewards are pretty good from all of this. I'm not sure if this has been reworked, because it looks like we still get skill crystals and all that, which we don't in the new ones. This is one of the older crystals that I got when they first launched the new Hall of Inferno. Yeah, pretty bad drops. So I think this is reworked on the original, or rather the new Malrik halls that we have, but this is the old one, which you can see pretty crappy rewards compared to the level 4 that we saw the other day. So yeah. And we forgot to click on the damage charts. But yeah, that's definitely not shabby at all. Ruen Hollow can do some decent stuff there. That's A1 as well. So not a very high awakening unit yet. But if let's say we'll look at other units like Lady Alexandra, she can work just as well in that lane. The only thing is that she's not invisible, so she can get hits by the incubator that spawns on the side. So that's the only downside, and that's what an invisibility unit can offer. I don't think Alaura can offer that level of damage, especially not the phantom arrows that get shot on the side to support Van Helsing. So pretty decent unit, but definitely not something that's crazily overpowered. So yeah. Alright, so that's Ruen Hollow. He is definitely an Alaura replacement, just from what we've seen here so far. Even though the unit looks very scrappy, doesn't really look like he pack a punch, but he does do pretty decent damage. And bear in mind that in the GR3 showcase, he had no inspiration on him, whereas in the Malrik's run, we did actually have Nerissa offering inspiration there. So his kit, I think what makes him stand out is that Phantom Arrow, providing the defense reduction. And this is a 3-second cooldown, so you can proc it pretty often if you use a unit like Iova. And then we look at the other stuff here, the first damage negation is more helpful for GR3. Anything out of there, it doesn't really help, especially in Malrik's where he can get hit multiple times. Yeah. Awakening wise, A3 is definitely his biggest awakening. So if you can get that, if you're Kraken, sure, but I will not be running after copies of him. Especially with the fact that you already have Alaura in the mix for, you know, GR3. Unless you are more new to the game, then getting a lower awakening Ruen Hollow could achieve what you need. But you do need Lady Exandra as well to be able to clear through the later stages. But he is definitely better to use compared to Hatsut because Hatsut's invisibility wears off. And then you have Alaura, you need lots of good gear and awakening to get her to work. Whereas for Ruen Hollow, you can probably run him even in Gear 321 without much special awakenings. I think even A0 will be sufficient there. So yeah, very interesting unit. Will I pull for him? Probably not, because I don't really need a unit like him, not in Gear 324, which I've already cleared. But he is showing some potential, at least for the new Malrik halls, and that's pretty much the only place that I could see myself using him. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you have any more questions about him in terms of mechanics or where else do you want me to actually test him out, let me know down in the comment section below. I don't think he will do that well in like anti-air arena, at least just from the stats alone. I don't think he does anything too crazy. I mean, the Phantom Arrow is nice, but yeah, I just don't see it working spectacularly. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one. Goodbye.